皆さん、こんにちは。ローズです。Welcome back to 日本語。元気ですか？ I hope you're all doing well. このビデオでは、レッスン33の文法を紹介します。でも、その前に、レッスン32の文法を復習しましょう。それでは、始めます。First, we've learned about verb た方がいいです when we want to give an advice. For example, 体に悪いですからタバコをやめた方がいいです。We've also learned that 何々でしょう when we want to predict or give our prediction about something. For example, 夕方には雨が止むでしょう。We've also learned that 何々かもしれません or meaning possibly. For example, コートを持っていきます。夕方には寒いかもしれません。We've also learned about adverbs of possibilities such as きっと、多分 and もしかしたら。First is きっと meaning surely. For example, きっと行きます。Next is 多分 or maybe. 多分行きます。And lastly is the lowest, which is もしかしたら paired with かもしれません。For example, もしかしたら行くかもしれません。We've also learned about indefinite pronouns such as something, somewhere, somehow, and so on. And we pair this with a noun. For example, 何か something 心配なこと。こと is our noun. 何か心配なこと、何々。And lastly, we've learned about quantifier followed by particle で。For example, 10万円で。はい、大丈夫ですか？それでは33の文法を始めます。Here are the grammar points for today's lesson. The first one is imperative and prohibitive forms. Imperative forms or imperative verbs are used to give command, orders, or to force someone to do something. While prohibitive verb or prohibitive form is the opposite, meaning it is used to stop or prohibit someone from doing something. So first, let's take a look how to change mass verb into its prohibitive and imperative form. First is for group 1 verb in mass form. We will change it to imperative and prohibitive form. To do this, for example, the verb kakimasu or to write, we change the I syllable, in this case ki, and then change it to e syllable or ke. So ki becomes ke. Kakimasu, we remove mas, change ki to ke, and we have kake, meaning write, in a command form. And to make it into prohibitive, we change it to plain form. So from kakimasu, it becomes kaku, and then we add na, kaku na. Don't write. Kakimasu, kake, kaku na. Another example, oyogimasu, meaning to swim. It becomes oyoge. Gi becomes ge, oyoge. And for prohibitive, it becomes oyoguna, oyoguna. Next is nomimasu, meaning to drink. It becomes nome. So mi becomes me, nome. And for prohibitive, nomuna, nomuna. Next is asobimasu, meaning to play. It becomes asobe and asobuna. Next is iimasu, meaning to say. It becomes ie and iuna. Next is tachimasu, meaning to stand up. It becomes tate and tatsuna. And lastly is dashimasu, meaning to take out or bring out. It becomes dase and dasuna. For group 2 verbs, we remove mas and then we add ro. For example, sagemasu, which means to lower, it becomes sagero. And for prohibitive, again, just make it into plain form and then add na, sageru na. Next example is demasu, meaning to go out. it becomes dero. And deruna, go out or don't go out. Next is mimas, meaning to look. It becomes miro, look, or miruna, don't look. Next is orimas, meaning to get off. It becomes oriro, meaning get off. And oriruna, don't get off. And lastly is for group 3, such as the word kimas, meaning to come, and shimas, meaning to do. So kimas, we change it to koi. Kimas becomes koi. And for prohibitive, we just make it into plain form again and add na, kuruna. And shimas becomes shiro. And for prohibitive, it becomes suruna. Okay? Okay, so next, let's look at some of the uses of imperative and prohibitive forms. So this is commonly used when a senior is talking to a younger person. Senior meaning a boss or someone higher in rank, and they're talking to someone lower than them. Or when a father is talking to a child. So basically, this is commonly used by men or by male. For example, go to bed early. Our verb is nemasu. So, hayaku, and our verb nemasu is group 2. So, it becomes in imperative. We remove mas and then add ro. Hayaku nero. Hayaku nero. Next example, follow the traffic rules. Our verb is follow, which is mamorimasu. So, 交通規則を kotsu means traffic, kisoku means rules or regulations. 交通規則を mamorimasu is group 1. So, we change ri to re. Mamore. Mamore. 交通規則を守れ. Next, don't drink alcohol. So our verb is nomimasu. So here we have a prohibitive sentence. So don't do something. Sake o. Our verb is nomimasu. And this is in prohibitive. So all we have to do is change it to its plain form and then add na. Nomu na. Sake o nomu na. Another example of prohibitive sentence, so noisy, stop making noise. So our verb is sawagimasu, or to make noise. Urusai. Sawagu na. Sawagu na. Again, sawagimasu, change it to plain form, which is sawagu, and then add na. Sawagu na. Okay. This can also be used between men who are friends. So, when two men are talking to each other, they can use this when they want to force someone to do something. But we often add yo particle at the end to soften the tone. So, it doesn't sound very aggressive. For example, you're free tomorrow, right? Come here. Our verb is come, which is kimasu. So we say, 明日暇でしょ? うちへ来いよ. So come here, and then we add yo. 来いよ. Next is, give me money. Let's pay separately. So in this scenario, maybe someone is holding the receipt and asking their friends to pay for their meal, and he or she is asking for the money. So let's pay separately, but give me your money so I can pay. So we have our verb, which is give or take out, which is dashimasu. So we say, 金を出せよ. So dashimasu becomes dase, and then we add yo. 金を出せよ. Let's pay separately is 別々に払おう. 別々に払おう. Next example is a prohibitive sentence. It's not allowed here. Don't smoke a cigarette. Our verb is 吸います, which is to smoke. ここでダメだよ. It's not allowed here. タバコを 吸うな。ここでダメだよ。タバコを吸うな。Next example of another prohibitive sentence. Ouch! Don't throw the ball. Our verb is to throw, which is 投げます。痛い。ボールを投げるなよ。痛い。ボールを投げるなよ。This can also be used when there is no time to be polite, such as during emergency situation. So you have to convey your message immediately. So, for example, run away. When there's fire, you can say run away or 逃げます. So, for imperative form, we say 逃げろ, 逃げろ. Another example is stop it or cut it out. This is also an imperative verb. So, our verb is やめます. やめます. So, it becomes やめろ, やめろ. Next is a prohibitive command, which is it's dangerous, don't run. Our verb is 走ります, 走ります. So we say 危ないよ, it's dangerous, don't run. So we say 走るな, 走るな. And another example, it's broken, don't use the elevator. Our verb is 使います、使います。壊れています。エレベーターを使うな。壊れています。エレベーターを使うな。This can also be used when giving commands during training, for example, at school or when you're doing sports club. So by the teachers to their students. For example, rest, which is 休みます. We say 休め, 休め. Or the prohibitive one, which is don't rest. So again, the verb is 休みます. We say 休むな, 休むな. This can also be used when cheering at sporting events. For example, fight or do your best or good luck. We say 頑張ります, 頑張ります. So, we say 頑張れ, 頑張れ. And another example is don't lose. Our verb is lose, which is 負けます, 負けます. We say 負けるな, 負けるな. And lastly, this can also be found when you read traffic signs or slogans. For example, the word stop, which you will often see on roads, written on the road. So the verb is 止まります, 止まります. So we will see this word 止まれ, 止まれ. And another example is don't enter, which is 入ります or enter, 入ります. We say 入るな because it's a prohibitive verb. 入るな. And one more example is slow down. Slow down or meaning to lower your speed. So we say 落とします or drop your speed. So our verb here is 落とします. スピード落とせ. スピード落とせ. Drop your speed, which means slow down. So, like I said, this imperative and prohibitive form are very strong. So, when you want to give a command but you don't want to be very strong, you want to use a gentler form of imperative verb, which is nani nani nasai. So, we take the verb in mass form, remove mas, and then add nasai. So, you will often hear this when teachers are talking to their students or when mothers are talking to their child. For example, finish your food or eat all your food. Our verb is to eat, 食べます. 全部means all, 食べなさい. So our verb is 食べます, remove mas, add なさい. 食べなさい. eat all your food. 全部食べなさい。Next is go to sleep. Our verb is 寝ます。We say 寝なさい。寝なさい。Next example, submit your homework. Our verb is 出します。出します。宿題を出しなさい。宿題を出しなさい。Next example, sit down. Sit down, which is 座ります。座ります。So we say 座りなさい。座りなさい。Okay, next is 何々と読みます or 何々と書いてあります。何々と読みます means A is read as B. So, here we have the particle と which is used to quote something. So, we first learned this in lesson 21 in the pattern 何々と言います if you remember. Here we are using it again, but we are using the verb 読みます。と読みます is read as and 何々と書いてあります so is written. A is written. So for example, how do you read that kanji? How do you read that kanji? So the question form, we say あの漢字なんと読みますか? Because this is in question form. So all we have to do is add ka here. And then we have the question form. あの漢字は何と読みますか? Or you can also say 何と読むんですか? To make it more casual. 何と読むんですか? We say it's read as 非常口. It's read as 非常口。非常口と読みます。非常口と読みます。Another example is using the 何々と書いてあります。So our question is, what is that written over there? What is that written over there? So we say, あそこに何と書いてありますか? Because this is in question form. あそこに何と書いてありますか? We say, it says 本日休業 or literally 本日休業 is written over there. So meaning business is closed today. 本日休業と書いてあります。本日休業と書いてあります。Next is 何々という意味です。which is used to express the meaning of something. Here we have A は B という意味です。と is the particle to quote a word or something, followed by iu, which is the plain form of 言います or to say, and then 意味, meaning, meaning. Okay, so という意味です。A means B. So first, what does this kanji mean? So what does this kanji mean? So we have here the question form. So to do that, we say, this kanji, この漢字はどういう意味ですか? So here, we use どう, which means how or what. どういう意味ですか? Okay, so this is the question sentence. To answer, for example, this kanji is 営業中 means, or the meaning of this word is, the shop is open for business today. 営業中 means the shop is open for business today. In Japanese, 営業中は今店が開いている. So this is A は B followed by という意味です。営業中は今、店が開いているという意味です。Another example. What does 使用禁止 mean? So here we have the kanji 使用禁止。What does 使用禁止 mean? 使用禁止は、so A はどういう意味ですか？使用禁止はどういう意味ですか？ It means do not use. 使ってはいけない。So here is our B. So 使用禁止は使ってはいけないという意味です。Or in short, 使ってはいけないという意味です。Next is 何々と言っていました。To quote a third person's message or words. So, in lesson 21, we've learned about the nani nanito imas, which is also used to quote someone's words or message. But the difference between nani nanito imas and nani nanito ittaimashita is that nani nanito ittaimashita is mainly used to quote a third person's message. So, assuming that this person is not present in the room. So, for example, A and B are talking and A is delivering or saying what person C has said. So, person C is not present in the room. So, person A might say, person C said that nani nani. Here we have the sentence as is, or you can change it to plain form, followed by と言っていました. Person C said that. So like I said, we have a scenario wherein person A and person B are talking, and maybe person A said what person C, who is not present in the room, said. For example, what did the company president say? So here, person C is the company president. So, 社長は何と言っていましたか? So here we have the question form. So we don't know the message yet. So we put in 何と言っていましたか? And then person A might have said, he said, quote unquote, there will be a meeting later and I'll be away from my desk. So here is the exact words of person C or the president. 後で会議があって席を外しますと言っていました。Another example, what did the doctor say? 先生は何と言っていましたか? He said that uncle passed away. So here we are going to change the sentence into plain form. So, おじさんはもう亡くなった。So from 亡くなりました, which is the mass form, we change it to plain form, which is 亡くなった followed by と言っていました。おじさんはもう亡くなったと言っていました。And lastly is 何々と伝えていただけませんか? Which is used to politely ask someone to convey a message. Again, we are going to either use the sentence as is or in plain form, followed by と, the particle と, 伝えて, which means to convey, to deliver, or to give a message. いただけませんか is polite form of ください. So, it means, could you please tell him or her that, nani nani? For example, could you please tell Sophia to call me later? Sophia san ni, so here is the receiver of the message to Sophia. 後で電話をください. So this is our exact sentence. と伝えていただけませんか? Another example, could you please tell everyone that The meeting is tomorrow at 10 a.m. みんなに会議は明日の10時だ. So here, instead of saying 10時です, so です becomes だ to make it into plain form. Followed by と伝えていただけませんか? みんなに会議は明日の10時だと伝えていただけませんか? Next example, I'm not feeling well, so could you please tell the section manager that I'll take the day off. 調子が悪いので、課長に今日休むと伝えていただけませんか? And another example, could you please tell grandma that, sorry, I'm busy in the afternoon. おばあちゃんに、ごめん、午後は忙しいと伝えていただけませんか? はい、以上です。このレッスンはどうでしたか？もし質問かコメントがあったら下に書いてくださいね。あとはこのビデオが役に立ったら LIKE ボタンと SUBSCRIBE ボタンを押してください。Please stay safe everyone. I'll see you in the next video. またねー。